Welcome to Your 4x4, I'm Simon Christie.
And I'm Danny Sparks Cousins, and this weekend we're up at Woods Point checking out some of the fantastic tracks in the area.
Now Danny, what can you tell us about the weather?
Simon, it's freezing up here. Last night we had some snow, we're fogged in today, it's freezing cold, but like I said, there's some great tracks around.
There are some great tracks, and I think we might only get one or two done today, but let's get into it.
Your 4x4 is proudly presented by Berrima Diesel, ARB 4x4 Accessories, Piranha Off-Road Products, Kama Rear End Protection, Wholesale Automatic Transmissions and Lightforce Performance Lighting.
G'day. A few months ago, Simon Miranda and myself were chatting about doing a trip to the Victorian High Country, and we talked about picking out a track area that would be probably a bit more challenging and a bit more difficult, and something that was going to be interesting.
Hi, I'm Stuart from Wholesale Automatics. We're up here at the McAdams Gap Getaway. It's absolutely freezing.
Tell my neck.
Pretty interesting trip up yesterday afternoon. Seemed to get colder and colder the higher we got.
Hi, I'm Rodney from Wholesale Automatic Transmissions. Today we're heading out on quite a difficult track. It's very wet, muddy, it's been raining for the last few days, so there's going to be an awful lot of mud underneath that snow.
I'm Reinhard Leimeroth from Berrima Diesel, or DP Chip. It's a great group which we're all together here, and I'm looking forward to a wonderful day.
Hi there, Sean O'Donnell from Lightforce. We drove through the old town of Woods Point and we let the tyres down there. We let them down to initially 20 psi.
In terms of order, if we go camera car, ute, then possibly put either the Nissan or the 100 behind me maybe. Yep. Then go someone else with a winch, and then non and just work it backwards from there. Okay, welcome to our Woods Point adventure trip. This is designed to be a slightly more difficult trip. The first section we're doing is a brewery hill, which is an access that was used in the olden days to get miners into their actual claims and things. So it's quite an interesting little track. It's a lot of rock. We've had a quick look at it this morning and it's as challenging as ever. The rest of the whole trip is not going to be anywhere near as hard, so don't be put off, but I am throwing you the hardest bit first thing because I want to get into it in case it takes nearly all day or whatever the case may be. Woods Point is where we are. Woods Point was named after Henry Wood, who opened a store here in 1862. Now, we have got a gold mine to come to later, and that gold mine is actually quite dangerous and quite closed and really not supposed to be accessed. Simon's got to be on his absolute promise not to go ferreting down and getting lost in there like in Beaconsfield. Done. So, gentlemen, now, procedures. First of all, we must all have UHF communication. There is probably going to be a bit of winching. It is unlikely many of us will be able to drive this, so it's going to be quite an interesting little exercise. Part of this is to actually show different means of traversing this type of terrain without A, damaging the car, and B, damaging the track too much. So the idea is to get into it. Now, in terms of line-up, we want winch, non-winch, winch, non-winch. So Danny's in charge of setting the convoy up, so we'll have a camera car at the front, so as we don't all get bloody mucked up and that. I'll go behind the camera car, then someone can go behind me who's got perhaps a slightly less capable vehicle, and then we'll go backwards right through to the group. Okay, so if we keep in contact, we'll be in and out of cars. This should be fun. Gentlemen, let's do it.
Lady.
And lady, and of course, lovely lady. Well, as you've already slid over there, it's probably better to be there in the first place.
Yep.
So this is the first challenge, the first beginning challenge. And as you'll see, wet rocks do not make much traction.
No.
Keep going back. That'll do. Punch it from there.
Alan went up there without any problems whatsoever. Bit of a wild ride, got a couple of wheels in the air, but it was pretty entertaining. After that, it was a bit of a struggle for everyone else, mainly because I guess a lot of the cars weren't prepped for it and the track wasn't probably as good a nick as it was when Alan went up.
Fun and games.
That was a good drive. That was great seeing you up on two wheels.
I thought it was pretty exciting. I've driven this before.
Yeah.
I knew it was doable.
Yeah.
I didn't know I was going to do it today, though.
Well, Simon, this week's entry comes from Jim Pearce, and Jim has written, "I love the grunt and gurgle of diesel through the engine as I power through the rough Australian outback." Nice one.
For sending in that email, you've won yourself a Lightforce tack torch and stubby holder. All entries go into the running for the ARB twin motor portable compressor, the projector inverter, and the amazing Carry Boy canopy worth $3,500. Thanks to all of the sponsors, and check the website for full details.
The next generation of shock absorbers is here. Leading the way in 4x4 suspension development, Old Man Emu introduces the most advanced and finely tuned shock absorber on the market. Nitro Charger Sport incorporates a new valving system that instantly adapts to all terrain for an outstanding smooth ride and phenomenal control. Backed by a 3-year, 60,000 kilometre warranty, you can trust Nitro Charger Sport, built in Australia for Australian conditions.
To truly see the road ahead, some drivers need ESP. Others simply choose Lightforce. Welcome to Lightforce country, where your safety is our vision.
Whether you've got ESP or not, Lightforce Performance Lighting is the smart choice.
Sometimes the front runners lead from behind. And when it comes to protecting your rear, Kmart are world leaders in rear end protection and tow bar combinations. The just released Prado 150 is no exception, with a bar that is designed to follow the car's lines and work with your sensors and factory camera. For the best in rear end protection, trust Kmart. It's a statement, not just an accessory, for the toughest of 4x4 trips. For more info, go to kmart.com.au.
First of all, a very long winch extension strap is required here. Secondly, we've got to lock the back of this car to a tree, otherwise it's going to bugger off down the hill. The train is an 8-ton chain. Reasonable sort of tree. Are you ready, sir? Here we go.
I was surprised by the gradient, I'd have to say. It was very steep.
Now we'll see how far he can drive.
There'd been a lot of rain around and it was quite wet, slippery and muddy. Quite foreign to me. I'm from Adelaide and we never get to see conditions like this, so it was a big learning curve for myself.
What's the problem?
Carry point's about to fall off.
You're kidding.
So, you have a socket set?
Okay, right, to start taking up the slack.
In hindsight now, it really wasn't set up for these types of conditions at all. I've only got some AT tyres on there and let's be frank, they're quite tired condition and they just filled with mud and left me with no traction. The rear diff lock did basically nothing. My vehicle has an IFS front end. I had no grip at all from the front. It was all really left to the rear to try and get up the hill, which took quite a long time.
All right, Danny, jump in.
But we got there and enjoyed ourselves and really, a lot of learning. It was great to work with a bunch of people that really knew how to handle the equipment.
All right, well, that's 3 cars out of our group up so far. This is absolutely awesome. Alan, once again, has found some fantastic tracks for us. They've seen quite a different approach with those 3 vehicles. Danny first up, took it nice and easy, had to winch a few times, but gave it some herbs to get up the last section. Alan, what a champion effort, really gave it a punishing go. Well done to Alan. And the last car, Sean from Light Force, running some really bald all-terrain tyres. Not the right tyres to be out here, but in a group, that's all right, and that's what today is all about. Getting the cars all up here as a convoy. It's safe, it's fun, and we're out here doing it. Love it.
We had set up for it and I just wasn't prepared for it. I must say that over the last year, I've never seen a track anything like this before.
This can't reach any further.
First hill, for me, I think was a bit tougher. Wasn't as prepared as what I would like. Went up a little bit slow, but I was trying to take care of the Triton, not knowing that I've never put it through something tough like that before.
Okay, has someone got a radio?
My wife and me were probably the oldest ones on the team, including our vehicle, which was a 1991 model GQ Nissan Patrol with more than 550,000 kilometres on the clock. The team, of course, was very, very good. We got a lot of help for them because I'm not that mobile in a way for the extreme steep hills which we had to go through.
The first part of the track was a bit difficult because there's a big rut and ledge to get over and just about everybody got stuck there. We were able to winch up and drive up the rest of the track without too much hassle. The synthetic rope was amazing. All the cars, all the winches had synthetic rope. It was much easier to use in terrain like that. because unhooking cables and snatch straps and extension straps, everything all day would have been a real challenge if we were using steel cable.
Momentum and speed didn't make very much difference. Diff locks didn't really help a great deal. It just was pretty much undrivable, but it was great fun. The other section has got more potential for things to go wrong.
Once you drive the rest of it, you reckon?
No, I don't think so. Yeah. I don't want to tip anyone over. You can't tip over there.
No.
You go up on two wheels and it looks spectacular, but you're actually very safe.
Yeah.
This isn't safe.
Okay, right to start taking up the slack.
Well, the question for the experts this week comes from Keith Hambler, and Keith has written, I've got an NH Pajero V6 automatic. When in low range, heading up steep hills, after a while my auto temp light comes on. What can I do? Well, I surely know that Rodney from Wholesale Automatics will be able to answer that one.
Thanks, Keith. Automatic transmission temperatures range quite a lot. They change greatly with strain, so if you're towing, obviously the transmission will warm up more. If you're on sand, it'll warm up quite a lot too. The same as when you're going up big hills. High range is more likely to get the transmission temperature up. In low range, it's expected to stay in a more controllable state. The most important thing is that you need to understand what's going on. A temperature gauge kit will allow you to do that. You'll be able to see what the transmission doesn't like, when it does get hot, when it doesn't get hot. It also allows you to be able to adjust your driving style to be able to cope with it. You might be going up a hill in high range and then find you're getting too hot. Then you might pick low range and all of a sudden the temperature will collapse greatly. If you're on the open road and not towing, I'd expect the temperature to mostly be around the 70 or at least low 80 degrees Celsius. If you're towing on the highway, not a great deal of difference, maybe only 10 degrees difference. On a hot day, probably 10 degrees of difference again. In most cars, all the lights come on at about 150. At 140, we'd like you to see if there's somewhere that you can pull over, but at 150, I would already like you to be stopped. Let the car idle down for about 10-15 minutes in park. Don't just turn it off. It's probably one of the worst things you can do. After she's cooled down to probably 100 degrees, you can probably get up and go again. In your case, you seem to be having a little bit of trouble with the temperature going up in low range. Now, in your case, I would definitely be going for an oil cooler. And next time you get your transmission service, also ask to have it actually converted over to a full synthetic oil. It will make a difference. But the number one thing you need to have is a temperature gauge kit so you can understand your transmission, its heat, and then decide on whether you need a cooler and the synthetic oil after that. Temp gauge kit first.
For asking that question, you've won yourself a Piranha Clamp It. All entries go into the running for the Wholesale Automatics full automatic transmission kit, including a heavy-duty valve body, converter lock-up switch and temperature gauge. A Lightforce HID 50-watt set of 170mm strikers. The Black Widow premium awning and the RFI antenna kit.
Does your diesel smoke, lack power or have poor fuel economy? Then you need the Berrima Diesel treatment. Fine-tuning diesels since 1956, the Berrima Diesel technicians are Australia's leading diesel wizards. From a turbo installation to a high-tech dyno tune, when you think diesel, think Berrima Diesel. Visit thedieselexperts.com and make an appointment for more power, more torque and better fuel economy.
Driving an automatic four-drive off-road can be downright dangerous. But for all you auto owners, help is now at hand. The auto experts at Wholesale Automatic Transmissions now offer complete 4x4 and off-road kits for most popular four-wheel drives. If you need to improve your towing capabilities, need more control for descents, or just want your auto beefed up for improved performance, then contact Wholesale Automatic Transmissions and they'll ship what you need worldwide. Check the website for details. For 12-volt insurance, match your power needs with the world's best dual battery kits from just $500. Traversing through mud and water, then protect your diffs with a unique diff breather kit for just $75. And how about an upgraded headlight loom for maximum light and safety from just $200. Piranha Off-Road, smart products, smart solutions. Check Check for all the smart accessories online at piranhaoffroad.com.au or phone the experts on 9762 1200.
Our first entry this week is this D40 Navara, taken while on a recent family holiday to Arkaroola in the Flinders Ranges. The next shot was snapped on a midwinter trip to Barrington Tops National Park. This was the first time the Pajero had been driven on snow, but it was a great trip. Now this looks like a top spot to spend a day or even longer. The Grand Cherokee is parked on the rock shelves at Point Quobba on the WA coastline. Another top destination is Fraser Island. This GU was decked out for a relaxing fishing trip to the island that lasted 3 full weeks. And last is this 100 Series Land Cruiser, looking good after a day travelling to Cape Levesque, just north of Broome.
If you've just seen your photo, be the first to email Danny at your4x4.com.au and you'll win the Projector DC20 12V to 12V charger. All photos go into the major draw of a Kmart rear bar, a Berrima DP chip and a Travel Buddy oven. Check the website for full details.
Yeah, we asked Alan to prepare quite a tough one for us, and didn't he produce?
Danny drove up first off, and after a couple of attempts he pretty well clawed his way to the top. Then Alan went up in his Land Cruiser Ute.
Now this little hill, I've done this many times in the past, but this time it was raining, which makes it very slippery and very wet, of course. The track is a rock base, and wet rocks with a bit of clay mixed in on rubber tyres don't make for a hell of a lot of traction.
And that made it up, no problems at all, really drove up there quite easily. And then it was left for the rest of us to have a crack at it.
Everyone's done different stuff today. We've had people operating as winch operators, making sure that the cable doesn't get tangled. We've had people running up and down the hill, hooking up snap straps and tree trunk protectors and winch extension straps. We've had people organising, and that's a really important part in coordinating the recovery so no one gets hurt. What we're going to do is use each car to pull the car that gets stuck up in front of it. So each of us have a turn at doing a tug, keeps the convoy in line, and it makes it nice and easy, not too much stress on one car.
The second part of the track was a lot more challenging. A few cars got winched the whole way up. My car got about halfway, like a few of the other cars. Just a tip. Take all the rubbish off your keyring so it doesn't turn your air lockers off when it swings around under the dash there like that. You might get a bit further. When you're being winched, it's important to maintain the constant wheel speed comparable to the winch speed. You don't want to drive faster than the winch, and you don't want to be putting too much load on the winch by having it drag you up the hill.
The winching took probably more than 4 hours to get it up over the last 300 metres, which it took. Could see again that it's important to have a good team and a good coordinator guiding all the people which way to turn their wheel right and left. I think you need a person who watches, because you really can't see where you're going when you're going on these steep hills, and you need a good coordinator who guides you all the way up. So it was a good experience for all of us, and for me in particular, and my wife. We had a great day.
The second major hill that we had, well, I'll give us some more beans. At one stage I was actually at full throttle and full traction. I just really clawed in that, but that hill was so steep it eventually brought me to a stop. But the guys were all there, they hooked me up on that, didn't take too long.
I was the last one to go up because I think they put the slowest guy at the back this time so I could get the faster vehicles up to the top. I gave it heaps at the bottom, as much momentum as I thought was safe, and jumped up over that ledge, really pushed it to try and keep it straight on the tracks and in the ruts. Simon did offer me a second crack at it, but I really felt that I'd given it a good show first off, and I really didn't want to do any damage to the vehicle. The reward of getting it at the top was fantastic, just to be part of the teamwork and the success that everybody enjoys together.
When we got to the very, very top, it was good to see the hot jam donuts. I was certainly into that.
Everybody worked really well as a team today. I've got to tell you, it was fantastic. We worked like a well-oiled team. I'm very proud of everybody. It was good communication skills. Nothing really went wrong of any significance. No one got hurt. As I said before, no cars were damaged. We had a terrific day, and that's really, really important. And as I say, people have come from all around Australia to do this thing, so they've done a terrific job. Thanks again, guys.
Well, Danny, a great day on the tracks today.
That was fantastic, Simon, but there was only one track.
Only one track. It seemed like a lot more, but we had a lot of fun. We got a lot done.
It did. It was great. And tomorrow's going to be a little bit easier, but still just as much fun.
Something to look forward to on next week's episode of Your 4x4. I'm Simon Christie.
I'm Danny Sparks Cousins. We'll see you next week.